incredible amount of opportunities in small cap land in terms of momentum to the upside and downside, and I think it was all triggered by this IMTE. And what we see happen is, and this happens many years I've seen this happen since I've been trading, is you get one stock that makes an absurdly aggressive move, and then you get sympathy movers. And 90% of the time, these sympathy movers usually tend to not have as big of a run as the main mover. And how you can do it, what you can do is track the sympathy runners in correlation with the main runner to kind of trade them in correlation with one another or together. So when IMTE was ripping, you can expect some other stocks to start ripping with it, and then when it collapses, you can expect it to collapse as well. So when IMTE ripped, Boxel was the one that made this huge move. Obviously, only to give it all back because there's no reason for these things to be up. So what I wanted to discuss today was, as a newer trader, even if you're an amateur or veteran, some of the best strategies are to short the sympathy runners. Number one, because you can use the main mover as a gauge for what the sympathies are going to do, and number two, the sympathies tend to be easier to trade. So the one example I just want to give today that was a mover from last week was ears. And again, this was just a low float stock. All these low floaters were picking up steam, a lot of them for no reason last week. Um, so a stock like ears, looking at the daily chart, reverse split, used to be a 14-cent stock. Now it's all of a sudden at buck 40, $2. And you can see every time it's gotten near three, as well as $2, 250, you have huge resistance. It has just failed. So this is basically a picture perfect example of our over under strategy, where you see a stock make a parabolic move in the morning. And again, there was no reason for ears to be up. It was just ripping with all these low floaters. The idea entry, guys, is over that whole number. You know, you can use that 50-cent zone, 250, obviously a significant zone, as your resistance. And the goal of the strategy is to short over the whole number, not below it, and play the wash back below that whole number. So you can see ears um, stayed over two for a pretty decent amount of time. And you could have got fills in the 230s, 240s if you were even more of a sniper, and then just play the drop below VWAP in the all day fade. This went all the way back to 160. There was no reason for this to be up. So just a really good example of our over-under strategy. It is one of my most favorite strategies to trade because it is the most lucrative, but it also is one that requires the most tape reading. Get a lot of people to ask, hey Mike, how can I learn about tape reading? What books can I read? My best advice, guys, put on the screen time. I learned tape reading. Only been doing this for 3 years, but putting 10 hours a day behind the screen watching tape is the best way to learn. And it's the best way that you're going to maximize and perfect the over-under strategy. So to see us trade these strategies live, guys, visit us, foos4trading.com.